have sung for 1,000 years. The hills fill my heart with the sound of
The
music.
hills are alive with the sound of music. Sorry about that. Hi, my name's Dan. This is the soundtrack album from the film of the same name. I've seen the film only a couple of times, actually. I saw it as an adult. I resisted it a lot as a child or in my earlier years. So I know the film and I know the songs, and it's hard to separate. One of my things or ideas about soundtrack albums is they can work really well if you're familiar with the thing they're a soundtrack for, so a film or a stage show or whatever. But sometimes they don't work so well as a standalone album. I have no idea whether this album works as a standalone album because I associate it so strongly with the film. The style here is orchestral backing with popular singing. Sometimes it's a bit more choral. Now, that kind of makes sense in context because it's nuns who are singing the more choral stuff, and that kind of would be sensible. And there's one that's kind of more operatic, and I think that's just the nature of the person's who's singing its voice, whose name I forget right now, for Climb Every Mountain. It's Yeah, I don't think that that's Julie Andrews singing it. So if you love the film, you'll love the songs, I think. I think it's probably hard to love the film without loving the songs. My daughter loves the film and the songs and has listened to this album many times. Do I love the film? Mm, eh, yeah, bits of it I enjoy. I have enjoyed it when I've watched it. There are bits of it I find somewhat more irritating. There are bits that are quite slushy. Um, but yeah, it's all right. So let's dig deeper into the music here, particularly. So Julie Andrews is the person doing most of the singing. She's easily the best singer on this album. She's expressive and she's clear. She's got a great voice. She's got a great presence. Um, and I she was great as Mary Poppins as well. So I really enjoyed Mary Poppins the film and her singing in that as well. This listening to this album, the review caused me to think a bit about the choice of Julie Andrews as this character Maria in this story, and to some extent, I think I'm not sure that she was, in terms of the narrative, the right choice. I think in terms of commercial success, she absolutely was because she nails the songs and she gets it. So, she very kind of draws people in. Uh, but I think that the character, and particularly I'm building this on because I've never read the book. It is based on the book. But the song "How Do You Solve a Problem Like Maria" seems to paint a picture of her that is more awkward and more flighty. And the word flibbertigibbet is used, and more kind of forgetful and less confident than she portrays the character. So, if you've read the book, particularly, I'd love to know what you think about this idea that commercially she was a good choice. Artistically, I'm not sure she was absolutely right for that role. Um, Back to the songs. There's quite a lot of sentimentality going on here. um, Probably my favourite track is "The Lonely Goat Herd," which is quite whimsical. There are quite a few whimsical songs in here. "Goodnight Farewell" is nice. "Doe a Deer" is reasonably okay. My favourite things, I kind of like it, and I'm not really sure why I don't kind of like it as well at the same time. Something about the sentiment mildly annoys me, and I don't know why. I think it is the idea of, oh, something's frightened me, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to think of brown paper packages, and that's going to make me feel happy. And that doesn't work, I don't think. Also, "Problem Like Maria," I like the song "Problem Like Maria." Less keen on "Climb Every Mountain," which I mentioned before. The kind of title track, "The Hills Are Alive," which is a big kind of swelling sound to it, and less keen on the song about confidence. I don't know if I've mentioned all of them. No, I haven't. "I Am 16 Going on 17." Yeah, it's a bit too slushy. One of the things they do is that they bring back in the film. They bring back the songs again and again and again. I feel like they've hammered them. In fact, one time when I was watching, I thought they've only got 3 songs here. Actually, that's not true. There's a load of songs in here, but they do a lot of repeats. I do like. I'm just going to also mention Edelweiss, but I think I probably like it because of its role in the film. Actually, as a song, it's quite slushy. So I think I probably wouldn't like it so much if I didn't have the film context for it. Gotta hand it to them. I think this is, if I've got this right, Rodgers and Hammerstein who've written this. Almost all these songs are memorable, and it's rare to find an album, particularly a soundtrack album. You've got so many iconic songs and memorable songs. So well done to them. There's obviously a classic been in the making. In some ways, this style is not really my style. Kind of, musical theatre of the 60s, musical films from, 40s, 50s, 60s, around then. In my past, I would have sneered at musicals quite a lot, and I think that's possibly why I avoided watching the film for so long. But I can kind of live with it, and it's definitely iconic. So, as always, I'd love to know what you think of this album. I'm guessing it's very hard to be a person who hasn't encountered at least some of this album and certainly the film. So please do share by leaving me a comment. The next review on this channel is going to be the other end of the spectrum in terms of how well known it is. An album called Lush by an act called Snail Mail. But that's it from me for now.
High on a hill was a lonely goat herd, lay, hoodlay, hoodlay, hoo. Loud was the voice of the lonely goat herd, lay, hoodlay, hoodloo. Folks in a town that was quite remote heard, lay, hoodlay, hoodlay, hoo. Lusty and clear from the goat herd's throat heard, lay, hoodlay,